Hey hobbyists, Brennan here with Privateer Press. Today, we're going to use a simple sponge to get some great damage effects on our models. Let's get started. So I have here a Death Ripper from a previous episode, and I'm going to be quickly applying some battle damage using a piece of blister foam found with the packaging of many Privateer Press miniatures. I'm going to start with Umbral Umber, and I'm going to use this blister foam, and I'm going to dip it in, and I'm going to wipe off most of it just like you would if you were dry brushing or stippling. I'm going to try to use the corner of it as I apply this and just stipple it on, just dabbing it to try to apply this color. And you want to be putting it where you want it. So this layer is the dark layer, and I'm going to be using brighter color to kind of base on top of this. Alright, I think I'm going to be good with that. I don't want to put too much down because I can always add more with my paintbrush. And once that's dry, I'm ready to move on. So for the next step, I'm going to use some bloodstone here. I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to try to go on top of the previous layer without fully covering it up. And this is just going to be a brighter color to give a little bit of texture to the previous stage. And it's definitely better to do this battle damage before you do the gold or any other metals or elements. As you can see, I just got it on there. Layered approaches like this just apply easier first. Now here I'm using a couple colors to give it kind of a rusty look, but you can easily just use cold steel or pig iron if you want it to be a newer battle damage, and it'll look like the paint just recently got kicked off there. So for the next step, I'm going to use the last color, which is bloodstone still, and I'm kind of just paint on and connect some of these to give some bigger break-off points from the battle damage here. The sponge applied all these little dots, which is fine, but now I'm going to go in with some precision and just kind of tidy it all up. You want it to look kind of chaotic and not too pre-planned to kind of simulate how it would actually be in the real world, or the Iron Kingdoms. War isn't pretty. So for the next step, what I want to do is I want to use the highlight color of the armor plate that I'm putting battle damage on. In this case, it's going to be Crixbane Highlight. And I'm going to be applying that on the bottom of the battle damage spots. And that simulates the lip, the ledge that was peeled away too. And that'll give it the impression that this battle damage is actually underneath the armor plate that's been painted over. So depending on how much battle damage you put on, depend how long this particular step is. So the less battle damage, the faster we go. I wouldn't worry too much about being too spot on, because we're also going to add some more layers to tie it all together. All right, and for the next step, I'm going to do the opposite using Thamar Black, which is probably the color you're going to use no matter what color your armor plate is. And here I'm going to do it on the top ridges to kind of simulate the shadow that it's creating. So quite literally the opposite effect of the last step. Just need enough to sell the effect. So you're just painting as much as you're happy with. This gives the depth of the battle damage. And there we go. And now that we have the foundation for the battle damage done, I'm going to add a little bit of brown ink. And I'm going to blend it in and kind of streak it down to kind of give the weathering effect to kind of bring it all together. And this is straight, there's no water mixed in. So here I'm just going to apply some of this brown ink kind of on the top ridge. I'm going to let it dry a little bit. And then before it fully dries, I'm going to just streak it down. You don't want to do it all over the model, but just enough to kind of give stimulation. I'm using the two-brush blending technique to kind of have a little bit more control. Get it wet. Add a little bit of black. So here I'm just trying to simulate some rusting and weathering effect, like if water had run down and kind of pulled the rust down. Adding more colors to just give more variety and texture to the model overall. This isn't necessary as a step, but it's one I really enjoy doing when I'm doing battle damage. Streak it down. Since I just have this big splotch of bloodstone, I definitely want to give a little bit of variety to it, so it's not too harsh and contrasty on the eyes. Let it dry a little bit. I can even go kind of up here. These bolts, even though they don't have battle damage, maybe something collected up there that are forming, slowly pulling down. It's very similar to doing worn metal here. I'm just doing it after I've painted the armor, essentially. I'm still mixing this brown ink with some AMR black as I feel is necessary to kind of just get these final pools. And there you have it, a very quick way to apply some battle damage using blister foam. And if you want to not do rust, you can always apply some cold steel and have like a fresh battle damage right with the steel underneath. And you'll be able to achieve a very similar effect. You just play around and you get what you like. Scuffed, beaten, and battered, all with a simple technique. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos and check out the links below for more in this series and additional information on the P3 hobby line. It's not terrible, but it doesn't look like a wink. It looks like your eye's having an aneurysm. like someone called the doctor. Get some help.